Mhm. Mm. Mhm. Device simulation, people, people living. Okay. Okay. Uh, oh, I be say maybe Man City still pull one join us so that Liverpool can't get zero goal difference. Again, Man U do top in Liverpool. When you are Liverpool still have +1. Man U get +1. So Liverpool still the same point. Then you say the Okpa by then you say the Okpa by oh. Waya 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 happy Sunday o. Obe uzola no kwa. Obe uzola no kwa. Ewie soro ni o na gwanka. Wedenena. So tun salo boy we na zi okugbe na gwanka. Ade o usagiamudia abi usiaga. Anyway, I spell any donate ma. Khalifa, oh yes, it's been a while. Happy Sunday to all of you. Yeah. It's the network. I hope the network is good. For 5 years. I hope the network is good and my audio is also good. The network, man. Okay. Oh, you've been to. What will happen is after this live video, I will send a phone number to you of a person you will call at the Institute for Benin Studies at Textile Mill Road. I will send you the number of the secretary. So that you can get good materials that will help you with whatever you want to do. Oh, Baba. So anyway, I think we should start now. I guess one. For whatever reason, I didn't want to. Imagine Guanca. I mean museum now. I didn't want to speak about it. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want I just ignored because I feel that it was not much of a fight. It was not much of a fight. It was not how do I put it? It was not tasky. It was a very easy issue. About a year ago, I did my recommendation on this matter to the place of authority where recommendation should get to. Where I was asked what is my opinion about this matter. And I did give some recommendations at that time. And I'm happy that some of my recommendations is what is now being looked into, because some certain things just require thoughtful executions, strategy, and execution. Thoughtful plan, strategy, and execution. Our total, our zero, I zero can, I am in a life. So, I've not also been too happy about how our people are too stirred up about emotions. We are too emotional when we are judging, when we are looking at some of these issues. We are too very emotional. So when emotions becloud our judgment, we'll not discover that we cannot actually get to a place where we are originally supposed to get to, because we've been our thought reasonings, our mental strength, or our mental agility has been eroded with too many emotions. Then you now have a place of politicians. Often at times, our political class in Edo State does not really know where to draw the line. So that is why I now take precaution in discussing matters, so that I don't get caught up in the web of politics and politicians. I mean, most things the politicians say guaine me o ni me guayo, because okpanya yanhin I matter will be. I'll give you an example. I usually give examples so that people can look at how I think, how I reason. For example, today, there were protests that was led to Benin Royal Museum. And I will tell you why I call it Benin Royal Museum. Because originally, it's not supposed to even be a Mowaa or a Mowaa. That's even why I want to open up our head and actually see it from the perspective of authority, because I have been involved. Some of you have been following me for years, understand that I spoke so much about this museum. A lot of people didn't really know what were the original agreements. What now happened to it. Today, the exotic community and Edo State government are still in court because of Oto, Owa, na ate guogo, then the Den State government ate guogo, but cite a Mowaa, when it now became almost impossible for him to get a land at Ogbe. The next available space, alright, was the Central Hospital land. That was the only available space. But because there is an historical significance citing the museum at Ogbe soil, that is why he insisted, because the palace insisted that it must be at Ogbe soil. I have explained that the original royal declaration by Obaerediawa at that time was that the museum must be built inside the palace ground. And at that time, our people, because they are very emotional, and as are we the emotional, every mobile di me way, but enibuna we dey very ignorant. But they are the first to go to social media and claim that they know a subject matter that they are completely ignorant of. So at that time, when the palace had said that it must be sited on the palace ground, there were so many uproars that how would you site the museum inside the palace ground? Where is the palace ground big enough? Blah, blah, blah. The current museum that has been built is still sited in the palace ground. In the palace ground. I think I've explained all of this historical antecedent. There's a reason why Godwin also wanted his own to be sited in the palace ground. Because a lot of people do not understand that sometimes there are historical antecedent to this, there are cultural antecedent to some of these things, and there are traditional antecedent to some of these things. So he insisted, I don't know, is the network okay? Please help me check whether the network is okay. The network is ma. Okay, very good. Very good. So, like I was saying, because there are historical significance to siting of the museum within the palace wall, the palace ground, not just historical antecedent, there is a cultural antecedent as well as there is a spiritual. Yes, I think that's the one I missed. There is also a spiritual antecedent to the siting of the museum within the palace ground. So this was a public declaration at that time. But when that declaration came outside, because our people, like I said, are very emotional and as well very ignorant, I had also challenged what they have learned in modern times is to challenge the declaration from the royal house, only for them to now look very stupid after some of us have told them originally that they are sounding stupid, looking stupid, acting stupid. They will feel angered by it, only for them to now make a U-turn after they have realized where the current museum is sited is inside the palace ground. But only that they believed that when Obaredeawa had declared that it should be built in the palace ground, it was not referring to the current four walls of the palace ground. It was referring to the old palace ground before the British invasion of 1897. So when it was referring to the old palace ground between of the British invasion of 1897, what that means is that at that time, Sapele Road was not existing. Airport Road was not existing. The only road that was existing at that time was Sokmamba Road. Plymouth Road was not in existence. So Plymouth Road was not in existence. Sapele Road was not in existence. Airport Road was not in existence. So all those lands from the Benin High Court to the prison yard to where there is a current Ford Mart to the Central Hospital bordering almost terminating at Sokmamba were all old palace grounds. And in one of my classes, I went further to say that Udwenrie, where the wives of the Obas of Benin, in the old palace ground, where they were living, is where the Ford Mats, part of the Ogboka community of today, the Ford Mats, the prison yard, and all of that, those areas of the Ford Mats, a Baptist church, a quarterly, where Udwenrie, in short, like in one of my class, I had said that the previous names of the wives, the first wives, the first wives of the Oba of Benin were called a Nahe, not a son area, were originally called a Nahe. Where there is Ford Mats today, there used to be a big Uloko. There used to be a very big Iroko tree, which was cut down by the colonial masters in the mid-70s. Because that area was the quarter of the Oba's wives. So all of these areas that I have talked about used to be the old palace ground. So Obaseki clearly understood that to give this thing historical significance, cultural significance, and spiritual significance, it must be cited based on royal declaration. So there were a lot of issues as to where would I cite it. I don't want to go into details. There are some certain things that I rather not speak about. Originally, on Otobakban Orewa, Ministry of Justice, that land is huge. That land is almost 20 hectares. A lot of you people doesn't even know that it's a huge land that has a cultural and traditional activity. Egeni agbe ekpo wegwa ana the amufi acrobatic dance. Ewayana agbi kwa amufi. That Otoni extended towards the area of Iyeke NUJ. Beraka Owarewa, Ewana Agbe, Awe Amufi dancers, Vegani, the acrobatic dancers. Atiame, Nawachi acrobatic dancers, Vedo, Nawachi Kwamufi. Ewana ya Mwebe, Yanke to display Uwegwa. Those were all palace grounds. Alright? So, Oyinwotonorewa, which Obaseki wanted, that was the first land that he was eyeing. He was saying that when he collect that land, he was going to collect some lands, Awe Otoyanorikiki, that is beside Ezoti, beside Ezoti Nori Ekegwa, beside Ezoti Nori close to some of you are very familiar with those areas, that is close to the GROA side. Awe Owayanorewa, Viva, he wanted to collect all of those houses and add it to Toban Orewa, which would have made him roughly almost about 22 to 23 hectares, which would have been huge, massively. That would have been a very massive space for them to have sited the museum. But there were complications because first, that land is a traditional ground, and he later discovered Otobano. So now, and again, the Ezoti people came together and took him to court. The matter is still in court. It's still in court. I'm trying to give you people historical background of citation. Or ekena ake moyi. Enosie namanamo yogberi. Why cited based on royal declaration. I've not even given you the original historical background. Now, I want to put it to all of you here that a Mowaa is an intellectual theft. The concept. I don't speak gibberish. Even from the speech of Omo, you will understand. Some certain persons who called me, I try to explain to them that Mowaa is an intellectual theft. Under international law, ayeranyo, because whatever eventually gave birth to Mowaa, whatever they call it, is not out of the ingenuity or the brilliance of Obaseki. So Obaseki did not come up with the idea that led to a Mowaa. He only stole the original idea, which is Benin Royal Museum. I will prove it. These are historical facts. These are historical antecedents. What I'm so good at. So if anybody is saying that, is relying, if anybody is relying on the brilliance, it's a Mowaa, any of the them is the same. I will tell you why it was changed from a Mowaa to Mowaa. We understand. Even when they removed the E, I was still the first person in Edo State that came out and also said that they have removed E, and I told our people the implication of removing E. And there was a reason why E was removed. I will explain all of that. Now, like I was saying, a Mowaa, it's an intellectual theft. Obaseki did not sit down and conceive the idea. It is not his idea in the first place. It is not a product of his ingenuity. If anybody is affiliating that physical building to him, is good. But the intellectualism behind the physical, it is not the physical building is what people are looking at. And it's so myopic that when we look at this physical building, this physical structure, that is not what we are supposed to look at. We are supposed to look at the brain behind the physical building. The brain behind the physical building, the intellectual idea, the brain that produced that physical building is not of its own creation. It is not of its own creation. It is rather the creation of the royal house. So, Mowaa is an intellectual theft. Oyi, ekyoyi no, adwemu. And like I said, there were some certain recommendations that I sent to some high places. One of the recommendations was that, why would you bother yourself trying to go and build Benin Royal Museum when Mowaa is actually Benin Royal Museum, only stolen and the name changed? Because all the paraphernalia of idea, the entire structure, why it worked, why it became a reality is anchored on its originality being a Benin Royal Museum. So why should you bother trying to build another one when the one that has been built is a product of your intellectual capacity? It didn't belong to Obaseki. Obaseki never came up with the idea. A Mowaa never appeared anywhere until late 2019/2020. So when he became a governor in 2016, it was Benin Royal Museum. 2017, it was Benin Royal Museum. 2018, it was Benin Royal Museum. Until 2019, towards the late part of 2019. So that means, at one point in time, it is the Benin Royal Museum idea that was stolen, metamorphosed. A very good example. A very good example is iPhone 17 and XR upgrading XR to iPhone 17. It's like an upgrade. The original idea is Benin Royal Museum. Someone stole that because he had the connect. He was a sitting governor. he stole the idea. That's an intellectual theft. Under international law, it's a criminal act. So he stole the idea. So part of my recommendation at that time was that, why would you bother yourself trying to build your museum when the museum they said they have built is a product of your intellectual capacity, it's a product of the royal intellectual capacity. Why bother trying to build another one? When a boy, Ego Naya boy, which I also want to prove. You know, I like proving things. For a statement of fact. You know, for a statement of fact, I like to prove things. Now, I put it to every single of his followers, his supporters. I put it to them. Why is it that the so-called Mowaa is the only idea during the 8 years reign of Obaseki that got an international funding? 8 years, no Obaseki be. The only time the private investors, international funders, international sponsors, ya invest ye project do was only that Mowaa. Industrial park modular refinery are private investors Osiomo wana miewo ole Mowaa anagile do muigore na ya bemi yedo. Why? You people should ask yourself that question. The answer is very simple. International donors only will release resources or funds only if and if the project meets up with international standard and is viable enough. It's viable enough. When I mean viable enough, I'm not saying in terms of profit making. All of us have to understand that all museums of the world are non-governmental organizations. It's an NGO. It's a non-profit making system. All museums of the world, all museums all over the world, I make it go. Just in case some of us are believing that since there's a museum there, it will be just been generating money or Obaseki and the rest of our area. No, it's an NGO. You don't make money out of it. So the museums all over the world are run under an NGO. So you are not supposed to make profit. They solely rely on sponsors and donors. All right. But the question that I have posed is that why did these international sponsors and the NGOs around the world believed that is Mowaa was viable enough that they were going to invest in? The answer is because of the stolen artifact. The stolen artifact was the bastion at which was the foundation at which that was presented. The idea that these artifacts are not being returned all over all the best museums all over the world are not being returned became a presentable idea to these international investors and sponsors to key into the idea. So it is the Benin artifact that was relied upon that gave Obaseki the breakthrough that made these Europeans and American investors to invest in that project. So inherently, the money invested in the project is for Benin Royal Museum because the artifact belongs to Benin Royal Museum. So if the money that came because of this artifact that is the money is inherently to be used in constructing Benin Royal Museum. Whatever project that money was used in constructing, it means that project is Benin Royal Museum. This was my recommendation. That even Anina Boni and your way Benin Royal Museum, you know. So the palace should not be interested in getting funds That was why we had to come out to ensure that Obaseki do not produce a successor. If he had produced a successor, the moment we defeated him, I knew that every single thing that he has done is null and void. So I didn't even need to bother my head on this matter because it would be null and void. And when I was contacted a week ago, I said it's a 3-state solution. Three-state solution. All right? The concept behind Benin Royal Museum is brilliant. It's brilliant. Everybody that makes up of the board, I know that's where some of you might disagree with me, but it's okay for you to disagree with me. It's just an intellectual exchange. We can disagree to agree. See, most of the people that makes up of the board, whether they are Benins or they are Edos from Edo State, or whether Emmanuel Zunwedono or Iwe Sayan or Iwe Yoba or Iwe Igbo, it doesn't really matter. Because when it comes to management, you don't use tribe to manage an international institution like that museum. You don't use tribe. You use capable hands, people who have the technical know-how, people who have seen things, people who knows how to manage things, people who knows what to do. All right? I will always suggest at every time that in terms of management, it would definitely be called Benin Royal Museum. No doubt about that. I don't talk based on sentiment and emotion. I know Mowaa will not fly. Mowaa will not work. Every reason for you not to work is just there. But I don't also want us to kill that idea. So it will be 3-state solution. The federal state government is 1-state solution. The current management of the Mowaa is 2-state solution. And the Royal House, which is the most important state, is a 3rd-state solution. So it's a 3-state solution. The federal and the state government is 1-state solution. They must come to round table because they have a stake. They must come. The Royal House now will also come. When I mean the Royal House, will also come. It's a 3-state solution. The current management of Mowaa or Benin Royal Museum, will also come. Then, 3-state solution. 3 of them, of these entities, of these authorities, will not sit down. When they sit down, they will not discuss. They will look at the terms and conditions behind the creation of whatever they call it. And one of the first things that will be agreed by the 3 parties is that the name must change to Benin Royal Museum to reflect what it truly represents. Because you cannot say you are building, you will use the glory of Benin you will use the glory of Benin Kingdom to get investors to come and invest in Benin, only for you to give the glory to West African states. We don't even know when he referred it to as West African states. That means he's referring that Ghana has a stake, Sierra Leone has a stake, Benin Republic has a stake, Togo has a stake, all the West African countries. That's what it inherently means. But you cannot use my own glory to shine. And after you have used my glory to shine, you now give accolades to someone else. So it was the glory of Benin Kingdom that was used in establishing that museum. So that glory, the accolade, must be given to reflect how that glory came about. So in the first place, Tony Enini is stand annulled. Akawa money bigger, because in the first place it's like we're gonna use a glory enime ya shining now. We are using nime ya lodene. We're using nime to lodene. Where do riani mewa. Area where now they use Benin Kingdom to attract foreign investors into Edo State. Haven't used Benin Kingdom to attract foreign investors. Now they are not saying that accolades now should no longer be given to Benin. Emaniya will not be given to West African Emanoma kind. So, the three-state solution, three of them must sit and discuss terms and conditions. Then whatever that has been done will be undone, realigned, restructured, rephrased, reframed. And the three parties will now be in a good local standing, consigning that museum. Then they will now hand over the management. The management, I can guarantee you, I'm sorry to say, if you are to ask me, the management should not be given to the palace. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. And the management should not be given to the state government. Should be given to these set of people who are already managing it. Some of them can be changed because that's how you're going to protect. Because you start seeing they are misbehaving. 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 So management of museums, it's not as a result of no, it's as a result of competency. So, but if there's an Edo man who is competent enough, not because he's an Edo man, if he's competent enough, it should be given to manage. It is a bad competency. That's how you run institutions and they don't fail. Most especially institutions like these that are of international recognition. Do you understand? So the management should be left for those who are in the private sector to manage with all terms and conditions agreed by the three states, of which the highest stake belongs to the royal house because it is an idea of the royal house. And I'm sure that with 3, 4, 5 meetings on the round tables, all of these things are laid bare. And when all of these things, this thing has nothing to do with emotion. See, I tell some of these Obaseki followers, some of them are too dumb. They usually do not understand why I use the word dumb for them. If, as a sitting governor, you could not defeat the Oba of Benin and the Benin people, do you not think that when he's on exile, when he had all the powers as a sitting governor, so issues, whether I heard how they were very boastful this morning that Ian Ashaw, one guy posted Ian Ashaw 100 Agobasimi people. He referred to them as Agobasimi rascals as 0. I knew the implication. I knew that the implication of stirring up we that are pro the palace is to agitate us to go and chase them out. And that's eventually what happened. I wasn't happy that those white diplomats were chased out. To be candid, I have also made my opinions known to people. Some of you are happy, but I'm not happy. I have my reasons. There are sensitivities to these things. What we should be interested in is how to make that place achievable, running, and meet up with the standard. We'll be able to rival every other good, best museums all over the world. We don't need negativity sort of around that building, that Benin Royal Museum. We don't. But in a way, these people tends to push us to a way that we have to prove to them at that time that And when you try to tell them that these things are not done with emotions, I see a lot of emotional readings that Benin people don't like good thing. Udo moto gerame. Ni mahienwe, ni mayanwe. Udo wa be emi yo because we development idea wo me nige gwa. How do these people think? What I have seen are people presented on social media all this while was there are some pending issues. That's what His Royal Majesty talked about. There were some deceptions. There were some lies. There were some certain things that were not true, that were not correct. There were some let us strengthen all of these issues so that everybody cannot be on the same page. Edoe emi yanari ho kukuhu kokohu noro erokbanologero. No, there are no arguments as to the ownership of the artifact. Get this. Even if a Benin Royal Museum is built tomorrow, the Oba of Benin will, by the virtue of his ownership of those artifacts, will choose to donate anyone he wants to donate to the museum. It's about donation. Is it that he donates or he leases? The museum is a physical structure that houses prized works. In this case, the artifact is already gazetted as the property of the Oba of Benin. So, this Benin Royal Museum, it is the Oba that is going to donate or lease, however, I don't know what kind of word, or how you donate or lease a artifact in the area where do you understand? So these are the questions. I don't want to go into what the state government are saying that the previous government invested 3.4 billion into the project and the current value of that place, it's about 11 billion. So when you add 11 billion plus 3.4, that's almost 15 billion. So the state government cannot invest 15 billion on a contract that they don't know anything about. How do our people think that a state government, by what they have said, I wasn't there, I can't say for a fact, but from the informations on the social media, that the then administration of Obaseki donated 11.4 billion. Now, the current value of that land is estimated to be about 11 billion. That is almost about 15 billion. When you put a 15 billion in a project, and the project people now are not telling you that you don't have a stake in that project. It's somehow, I don't know whether you people understand. So the state government equally has a very big stake. That is, those state people has a very big stake in that place. These are not emotions. This is about the current management coming to explain themselves on the true nature. I want to say true ownership. The true nature of that place. You put it bare. This has nothing to do with emotions. If you don't put it bare, there will continue to be controversies roving around. If Okpewolo do not stop it, other subsequent government will come and stop it. So you must be very transparent, because the least thing that the Benin Royal Museum needs right now is lack of transparency. If it's to work to his true potentials, that institution has to be very transparent. The people has to know what really transpired. And anybody coming out to want to find out what really transpired, you cannot say that in Agwale no Mavedo. oteme elito sas. Mini gbeya toloma. Aya tolo. There are things that when I sit down, I'm a young man who is trying to grow in the private sectors. In the private sector. I know some, like I said, this museum, 80% of the funding came from the international world. You must protect this interest of these international sponsors. Not just when I mean protecting their interests, they must see that what they have expended their money in does not have any controversies around it. That is when their community, their place, the country they originate from, or the country they are from, we trust that place enough that they are willing to make recommendations for their people to travel far and wide all over the world to come and see the brilliancy, the idea, the concept of that museum. You must not threaten them. I have no problem that dating here and showing I have no problem with that. But not those foreign diplomats. I have no problem. What I was thinking is that many are they still proceeded, my thought, that they still proceeded with the exhibition, not inauguration. That's not an inauguration, obviously. That couldn't have been inauguration. You people should understand that. That couldn't have been an inauguration. Inauguration is not done by 30 people or 35 people. That was an exhibition. Before, museums all over the world, before they are inaugurated, they does multiple exhibitions. All right? It's exhibition, just to show some of these foreign diplomats and investors how far they have been and all of that. They exhibit some of these glamorous artworks and all of that. I don't know whether you understand. So that was just exhibition. So what I would have expected was the state government, having found out that Iheanacho still went further to do that, would have requested that whatever anything near the government house for clarification and even arrest Iheanacho and lock him up without having to cause a public glare. That public glare Emma with institution not pretending. Why nobody touched or insulted them? When my dege dunia was when my obia do no go no na money san. When madam yo, I don't pa one idea money san. I will bune money san. My de to ni san I will gin any agewa. I saw some another some level of low level, small level of destruction. Those were not necessary, to be candid. I know a lot of you will not agree with me. It doesn't matter whether you agree with me. I might be wrong, I might be right. But the point is, we should be more diplomatic. Why Radame or Obaseki? Unari asank bomo. Uhawe tamomoni nege Vienna. They have been dealt with. Prior before the gubernatorial election, these people had hopes and aspirations. They were already counting hundreds of millions. They were already promising friends and family, their girlfriends, that this government, when we enter government, so the money will day, commissioner will reach my hand, SSA will reach my hand, director will reach my hand. Then what do disappointing ya? Ya mari mion. Then what do we need a vie? Only a venia vie. What you people should be doing for them now is to console them. Hey vie, wa gwali una when I say osarak pe me. That o ma me flat yash. Oni san. Oni san be ni ya be museum ni. When me atemata one bu why onu ware de jame yi. Oni sabe ni ayage wa. Kwa madege video ni work pa on ide dem oni san. Oni ayage. Oni no te on ay money san. Where owa son ya je ba we ma ya duza no so ni. So, but what I have said, anything that was supposed to be done shouldn't have been done in public glare. There were better ways for us to have handled that matter and not fall into so there must always, and moreover, you know, I always tell our people that this is where I have issues with our people. Why sometimes, most times, why do you think I don't attend any protest? Why do you think it cannot protest? Have you people ever seen me in protest? Now, I will tell you why. This is my observation. Some of you might think, I always think beyond what most people think about. I'll give you an example. A Boston was there leading protest. Was he not there? True or false? But do you think a Boston loves the palace? Now that's the question I want to ask. Do you think he loves the palace? Egenaya protest Iyeki. Because I was against Iyeki protest seems to be against his principle. It was nowhere to be found. Do you not think Izoduwa we take protests now we Boston ye serious? That's how I think. That's why you don't see me in any protest. They will only come out and fight that they are fighting for Benin Kingdom only if at that instant it does not jeopardize a Kenyan amigo Ariekbo. It does not jeopardize their relationship with government. But if it does, they don't. And Benin people will forget. Maewe miamia. Boy, another way. Because the protest does not affect their pocket. We start seeing them as heroes and heroines. I always tell our people we have short memories. There are a lot of people who were in that protest. Just few months ago when Obaseki was still there, I saw a lot of them there. I saw a lot of them there. So that's why we never go for a protest. Except a protest in it. Oh, if we arrange it, might be right 10, because these are the 10 people that I know come real, come shine. Irrespective of whatever government that comes in and goes out. We are with the palace 24/7. Do you want anything? The phone is on here now. Come break, come shine. So these are the issues I'm talking about. I know some people will not say, will not take this my word, but that is the issues. That is the issues. We as a people should do better. It is not only when it is convenient for us for we to speak the truth, that's when we should speak the truth. It is not only when it is convenient for us for we to fight, that's when we fight. I didn't speak on this matter because I know that a matter that there's no way that Mowaa or Obaseki or whatever idea he has will stand. By ensuring it does not produce a successor. After we had defeated him on that, every other thing was no longer very important to me anymore. Because Agbinaba, imagine Aso Igodalo was a governor. Just imagine. I want you people to think. Just play it in your head. Play it in your head. Imagine Aso Igodalo is a governor. Just play it in your head. I want you guys to play it in your head. So that's what I want you all to always know. So, I had a protest. Aha. I don't pray for fight, but it will always come. Whether we call for it or we don't call for it, it will always come. There will be once in a while clashes between the royal house and the government. Basically because most governments do not know the limitations of their power, that they are not supposed to get involved in traditional matters, but because of the voraciousness that is now affecting Edo people. And when that issues happen, you and I were also going to come out and say that Okpewolo, you are not supposed to do this. When that time comes out, most of the people who were getting at I go back artifact there now, in protest. You will not see them again. I will still be here doing the same live video, even though you worry. So, people who have, for me, this is what I believe. People who have clarity of idea. See, people have asked me to get involved in politics. I said, I can't. Let me tell you the reason why. It is about my loyalty to the throne. Politics drives our people crazy. Politics takes their brain. If you don't know like politics in there, if not all of them, because of one moment when I remember them, 99% of them, so they no longer understand the difference between fighting for the Edo cause and fighting for their pocket. So is the reason managing now. The only thing I will not be thinking is me, myself, and my family. So that is why I'm able to still come out today to challenge Obaseki, to challenge Okpewolo, to challenge any person, whoever that person is. No, he can't go. But avec an arrive I'm a bagua, any tie, or table manners, or maintain table manners. Where person they chop. If you dey chop, you're not supposed to talk. Only maintain table manners. You understand? So let's call a spade a spade. That's what I will always tell our people. We should know. We should know by their actions and deeds. We should know those who really love Benin. A lot of Benins out there doesn't really love Benin. We have seen it time and time again. They're only coming now to prove that they love Benin when it favors them. Don't make favor, however. Evie so no esunu da me we do na. Oga sunu da 99.9% of Edo people. But again, I have told myself, I will only be happy with the palace when everything is good for me. That is that is not when you know when a child, a son is patriotic. Even that's not when you know if someone is patriotic. You only know when someone is patriotic if it is bad. I was with Onsa one time. Mejo Ole Arosa. Ia pake moto meiwa. Ina ya mie. Ina Onsa warewa. Ina do mi Onsa. Ma voye na agwa. This matter came up. We not argued. I was not arguing with Onsa. Ina Onsa. Ina before you. Onsa no warewa na ate Harrison or Cow, who was one of the biggest benefactor of the palace of the Oba of Benin. Because I was told that Ewonoje Agowa no would take on. But because of a level of Megwa as in Honsa, because of the power he commanded, he became so established, he became so wealthy, he became so connected through the palace, right? That is, he was favored by the palace. I'm just saying, that this is how I think. This is how I think. How many times have you heard him speak on Benin matters? How many times have you seen him defend, fight for Benin matters? That is what typical Benin people have become. And I'm not okay with that. And that's why I will continue not to be a friend of most people. That's why my cycle is very small. The cycle I keep within myself, within man back where they will never betray the Benin cause. It's very small. That's why I keep my cycle very small. Always call my can never betray the palace. That I know. Il vient that the day I might be a political positioning or any interest that I think I might have that will not be bigger than the general Edo interest. I tell myself that every day. How many Edo people can tell themselves that every day? So that's why when I say that, I'm not intrigued with some of those protests that they do. I'm not intrigued with it. I feel that the underlying matter should be diplomatically exploited, discussed, and resolved. You understand? Should be diplomatically and all of that. When I now come to social media, man, I don't mean money here. Talk these were the same people. They were but a year ago. But because they have not changed political position. And we have short memories. I met Osakwe in one place at GRA when Godwin Obaseki was still the governor. I know the things he told me. Because Maggie Totana Degen, may I 12 guys in there, I'm on my own. I'm a man who speaks my truth. Honorable, I don't know if more. But the level at which they take side with Godwin against the palace is appalling. And he made it clear to me that it's about interest. And you think I will ever take that person serious because today is not shouting about talk by. That's the problem I have. That's the problem I have. If you are against the palace, just be against the palace forever. If you are for the palace, be for the palace. So, then you not think tomorrow, only to lead a protest. Add over 1 trillion a protest for the palace. On how 1 trillion naira is odwa. Ikpayo wamenare. So when that Yeki matter came, a lot of people didn't know that I was the brain behind all the protests that took place during that Yeki. But the very first day I will protest, I saw 1 or 2 persons. I'm not trying to spoil their name, but I know these people closely. Why I so why? And I Maria. And I told Anna Lawadia. Anna Lawadia, and anyway, Pamasha. You are a very nice patriotic Benin. Where they careful with the macho medegena. Now we here. Where mo boy what Pamasha me ohiamie ewa mie na. That does not mean I'm the most righteous person. But I have told myself that in order for me not to fall from the path that I have chosen for myself, I must guide it jealously. So the only way I can guide it jealously is to only affiliate myself with only people that I know. Come rain, come shine, they are with the throne. Come rain, come shine, they are with the throne. Those are the only people I will ever affiliate myself. And my ani I bring I must say ne. I must say ne. If I don't want to mention your name, it's because I don't want to mention your name. They now are already mention anywhere. If you think I'm lying, we'll go to court and we'll meet. I'll be able to tell them what the fact I have about people. So I told you, just like I told you people that the destruction that Godwin Obaseki has caused in Benin Kingdom, 20 years, I repair. Who are it me joke? Who are it me burden? Benin's not see themselves as enemies. Do you know how many people? Because I used to love these people. I used to cherish them. I used to like them. When they panajenania, we answer it here. Mr. Nosakare doing it then. Because of Godwin, not block her. I'm a block her with Facebook. Or a group in my block on your say no na again. That's my way will, but I couldn't tolerate because it is wrong for me. It was not so many, even on one or two occasions, if you beg here, because he came to my comment section to comment, telling me what to say and not what to say. You know, if I don't ever try that nonsense. So, in order for me, I made not seven, which is against the customs and tradition of the land. And I've a block. Do you know how many people that I used to respect that I have blocked? Because they now started to throw insult to the throne. Why? Because of Godwin Obaseki. I mean, Godwin Guan, but ete Godwin ye pay or many no elites. Oh, here you go, ne. Dete omagiri go, ne. Eke ka fuk begegwa. Oh, you fuk begegwa because on many no elites, or you fund there. Then people will now say, don't. I have no business talking about that guy. He's a busy man on Ezai. I'm a busy man, but not on Ezai as well. So, a boy, he go get the private jet he ha. He go get me have a de Corolla. A voy ha. 3 square me. Oh, me I remember we afforded 3 square me. You have a relaxed dating with the UK or the US. I can afford. You have me buy with the ticket. He may buy with pay a hotel. If we are here. So, normally, I would have just allowed him face his business. I face my business. But he's still sponsoring people to insult the palace still dates. And when we say that, they say there's no evidence. The evidence is that everybody knows that if Omemeni not elites, if you stop paying him today, he will stop talking. The strength and power he still has today is because someone is still funding him. Who is not funding him? Definitely not Ason Igodalo. Well, yeah, when so my way pie digging, my so what do we do? If you do not, I don't know what happened to Benin people. Because of me ya mi weirdo so, many ya gwan. Most especially in railway bonoro. Me ma sure if you merok ba me a kweni ya years ko do. We'll just die here together in Nigeria, where our men are so, or we are so tall, schooling you. Because we are me a team man irrevocable. We are me so near town. And when you look at some of them, these people are in their 50s and 60s and 70s. You just get astonished that those are set of people you will definitely see that will attend Obaseki's meet and greet. Ni magin negbe ni ro. And when you try and tell them that my negbe, because otherwise, with all the calamity, you said that you are in a society where every public servant gets accounted, is accountable to its people. Now, you don't want Obaseki to be accountable to his people. Obaseki now is not having solution to all the problems in Edo State, whereas he was a governor for 8 years and the freest governor in the entire history of Nigeria. So that is a governor that had no godfather, that had no godmother, that had no god, that had nothing. He was totally in control of his government. Or analyze a flooding. How to he may give me video ni island the one on base Scotland. On analyze how to solve flooding problem. When I be 8 years, me ma pity here. I was not angry with him. Oviedo no wa afie that very intelligent. Oni okay can agwalo ni igbo gbe me. Very intelligent. 8 years you could not do anything. You understand? So you want to solve flooding 8 years, 8 years, master the flooding issue. Automatically you are not in exile, also the flooding issue. The way do akpo bone. Anyway, more we do be heading down your home. People like this, Mr. Nosahari. Anyway, Russian of it, bone. Okay. Already Japan, one hour, I will receive it. Shame on you and Godwin. Shame on all of you. You understand? So, but the bottom line is this. Now, allow. Ime only me do him you wa. Now, allow. Wage na alele gbi magbi na. You understand? We have to find a way to unite ourselves as a people. You understand? But we also have to talk about what are the underlying issues. I'm ready to talk about the underlying issues. Ekemana na we will also come out and apologize. But Ado tie boyo that no Obaseki nege debe like boredo because he came to steal, destroy, and kill Edo people. That John 10:10 no. Obaseki or John 10:10 the Bible we John 10:10 the Bible high ni. Only God will not Obaseki steal, kill, SKD and destroy. Obaseki came to steal from Edo people, came to kill Edo people and destroy. Adore a job disunite, disintegrate. Although, and I said it, and I have said it a long time ago that the 20 years I is amongst ourselves. You understand? And I mean, at the point in time, if you do it, me go hacking my head to bina because of one person who doesn't care about us. I asked one of my mentors the other day who love Obaseki so much. I asked him a question which he has yet to give me answer. I said, can you tell me one thing that Godwin Obaseki did for Edo people prior before he became the governor? One thing. You bono Obaseki wa yenedo okay governor. As a governor, you must work for the people. But before you become a governor, what did one thing that Godwin Obaseki did for Edo people? These Benin people, these 5 Benin people today, I employed it. In a crisis year between Benin and Ijaw in 1995, I was the one who cautioned it, or I was the one who sponsored 3 Benin people for a scholarship to go and study medicine, science, and technology, or to go and study history before he became governor. What did he do for Benin people? They should mention one. now that he has left as a governor, ask him, what will he do for Benin people? He doesn't like us. He has never believed in us. He will never believe in us. You understand? Then, Adwari mini me ye ya Obaseki. Many me une do. I can count so many. Many me une do. Me binan do. Me osegin me siwin do. That's why I keep telling you people that. Eri awawe u okpewolo e disemu awogefo. They had the way governor the Benin Benin do start to ball, for example, mandated do not in Amuna, but Anna or the do start to ball. Why we have Gualano ban of Besut no Guazebu. The question should be, before anybody, any Benin is allowed for any elective position, the first question that the Benin people should ask is that why unedo? Why unedo? Why unedo? That should be the first criteria. Ebonaze. A classic literature tea. I've said this thing several times. When I admission, when I apply for our law, our business admin, I'm an idea no. I don't feel where a department of back. I fear a department in it. Automatically, and I came back and it's not telling us you in school server do. I understand you. Oh, should we start speaking in English? English, work with suits with time. Or do Azebo automatically? That is the best. In what dimension? In what sense? What was his antecedent before he became the governor in a district? After he has left being the governor, what is now his antecedent? Still funding some bunch of riffraff. Now if you begedo, now if you begegwa. Only antecedent is now leave behind. Yes, I agree with your Bill Steven. I were all those some chiefs in the palace. Ogyo it's a statement of fact. Some of them are very corrupt. That's why none of them is my friend. Messi Kenya, me you win, me street me twin. So akasi ni aene asana ya bole ni egbe ode. So please and please, let us not get emotional about the museum. First and foremost, that museum is Benin Royal Museum. That museum is a 3-stage solution. The state federal is 1-state solution. The current management, 2nd-stage solution. The 3rd-stage solution is the Royal House. These 3 components, these 3 authorities must all come together and re-establish the terms and conditions guiding the establishment of that museum, and now find it a way to go back to the way its original form, how it was formulated originally. Once all of this things, if they start this conversation now, and that's what I'm going now, I'll say 3 months to 6 months. I get a result. And when we now get results, every single person, the state government and the federal government will be brought along, the royals will be brought along, the current management structure will be brought along. Everybody will now agree. Like I have said, the management should be given to the current people managing it now. That's what I have said. Because I will not want the state government to manage it. I also will not want the palace of the Oba of Benin to manage there. Let it be given to private handlers to manage it. While all terms and conditions, the status quo is maintained. That's because over time, when you give it to state governments to manage it, they will mess it up. The palace would have a genuine people, but if a gay, no, your manager, will it still be one of those people? Now, a gay, no, about a community, and a community. You be gay. So, palace should not manage it. The current structure of management should retain it. That managerial whatever, after being agreed by the 3 three parties. That's why I said 3-state solution should be created. The federal and the state as 1, the royal house as 2, then the current management as 3. Then for the fact that Ian Ashaw is related to Obaseki through and free vest, Ian Ashaw for. Because anything that is related to Obaseki, Agwalo eva. Ian Ashaw ni Afioni for. I heard Ian Ashaw is related to him. MD organ of the Afrin verse. Afrin verse is the creation of Godwin Obaseki. So Ian Ashaw must go. Ian shall not show ni okba onikba. I had those management team cannot choose another person. You might just understand. So it only ties. So I've given one of the few points that I raised was one of the few points that I raised at the very beginning was that whatever they call Mowaa is an intellectual theft. It was stolen. It was not as a result of the ingenuity of Godwin Obaseki. Obaseki never came up with that idea. It was the idea that was given to him by the palace as Benin Royal Museum that he stole, repackaged. When I repackaged SRO to iPhone 17, repackaged, and changed the framework while the operating system is still the same. A framework you're a casing your or around the repa another yahin Mowaa. So obviously, and it is through the Benin Kingdom package, through the artifact that he was able to get international sponsors. Otherwise, he won't get international sponsors. So that means the money that was given to him because of Benin Royal Museum. I explained all of these things at the beginning. So that means Mowaa does not exist. It is Benin Royal Museum. That structure is Benin Royal Museum because all the paraphernalia of Benin Kingdom, ideas of Benin Kingdom, ideas of Benin boy. So it must be Benin Royal Museum. The palace must have a very big stake. The state and the federal government must have a stake as well. Then the current management setup. I'm always using the word management setup because I have my reason. The current management setup should also be retained. It's a 3-state solution. These 3 authorities, these three principalities or 3 authorities now should all come together to a round table and discuss and come up with provable points, ideas to make that place work. So that place must not die, shouldn't die, because it's incredible. It's an incredible legacy. You understand? It's an incredible legacy. So must not die. Must not die. All right, must not die. So we shouldn't get all of these things very emotional. Emotion or winning out. That's my message to all of you today. This thing shouldn't be a matter of emotion. This thing is not an emotional thing. That Benin does not like good thing. Who said we don't like good thing? But you cannot say you are claiming to build a good thing on a false foundation. You can't build good thing on deception. You can't build good thing on lies. So, all of these issues will be brought to the table. So, and I'm sure I continue to pray to God and our ancestors to give wisdom, to give wisdom to those. No, my brother, ancestry. Egbenaya Loben, calm down. I've explained these things. Issues of management has nothing to do with tribe. Has nothing to do with tribe. Issues of management. I'm not concerned. Would you prefer for the management board to be run by an incapable Edo hands than capable non-Edo hands. To issues of management, please. Issues of management, please. We should not, that monument, that museum, it's of international standard. It has nothing to do with, it's cited in Benin, it reflects the Benin, is to portray the Benin culture. Whoever manages it shouldn't be, I'm not saying everybody should be non-Edo. It's only when we have capable Edo people who have, one way or the other, have established themselves in that ministry, you put there. This has nothing to do with tribe. But if you don't have those capable hands, put other tribe. It's not a big deal. But why the ownership, the terms, what I call ownership or whatever terms and condition, is owned by the Benins. It is used, the place is used for the glorification of the Benin history, for the glorification of the royal house, for the glorification of our cultural and traditional values. You don't use sentiment to run. You don't use tribe to run that kind of establishment. Otherwise, it crashes. Who said they will not? Haven't you seen non-Benins who promote Benin history and culture more than Benin people? Haven't you seen more Benins who show more respect to the throne than Benin people? They have a management. It's either you have it or you don't have it. When I mean management is beyond a curator. You can use an Edo person as a curator. There are so many Edo people who cannot even pronounce Edo words. Oh, I don't think that's true, that Obaseki will use them against us. No. I don't think that's true. Some of these people had established themselves in their own cycle, and they were called in as experts in their field. Their loyalty is to the ownership or to their employer. In this case, Obaseki will no longer be their employer now. What I'm saying is, if you are using Edo people, ensure that it's the most competent Edo people, not because of Sugwakpata or Vivienne Yuru. That's what I'm saying. And there's no way you can get that kind of an institution and you're going to get 70% Edo people all throughout. It's not possible. You are going to have Igbos there, you're going to have Yorubas there, that's how it's even supposed to be. Even the National Museum or Ring Road, you see it's an international thing. Like, for example, the Digital Benin, the brainchild of Institute for Benin Studies. There are so many curators, there are so many board members that are from British origin, from sorry, the call came through. Yes, now, because Obaseki will no longer be in control. We are talking about, it has to be rearranged again. All of these things will have to be rearranged again. And like I've said, it will now be a three-stage solution between the state government of federal, the royal house, and whatever structure that they have. You understand? So these are some of the issues we're going to look at. I think I've run through all of this process, but I just don't want us to use tribal sentiments to establish that kind of a museum, and thereby, for me, I want Edo or Benin to be in total control, but it doesn't, for that kind of a thing, it doesn't work that way. If you have the best capable hand from Edo, put them into the fore. If you have the best capable hands from other tribes, also add them to it. Also add some of those European persons. So it's a miss. I'll give you people a clue. For example, Edo GIS used to be run by Edo GIS used to be run by it is run by PPPP, public-private partnership. Awebu, where Edo people or what around there. But the current government in Iri, and that's why it was run there very successfully. Aweboni came with other tribes. I once worked there for 5 months. It was run there very successfully. The current government in Iri, Aweboni Raw, will have other tribes. But there's an Edo component that Edo has a larger percentage, almost 80%. But why the 20% is given to the foreigners, and some other tribes that the foreigners employed. All right. Because it's a company established in about 7 states of the federation. So they have some, of their staffs that are being posted from other states to come and join them in Edo State. That's how Edo GIS was run for since 2018 till 2024 until Edo GIS is now a shadow of itself. Edo GIS, I was producing almost an average of 600 to 1,000 CFO monthly. Cannot even boast of producing 10 CFO or 20 CFO in 2 months now. Obaseki, even when Obaseki was the governor, he couldn't control. He was not in control. If he was that in control, he couldn't pull the strings. Do you think Obaseki is not as powerful as you people think? All the battles we fought with Obaseki, we defeated him. You're not unwinnable. I'm a winner. As a sitting governor, Marege is sitting governor, and most people hate him. Because of Betineni, we're not divide and rule, no? So you people try to give him some accolades that he doesn't even have. So that is why I said the state government has to get involved because of the land. If the land is evaluated as 11 billion, that means they must have a stake in that project. You cannot invest almost 15 billion into a project and you don't have a stake in it. So 3 parties must sit down and look at this matter and look at it with the best interest for themselves. But the highest stake belongs to the royal house. Like I have said, the royal house calls a minimum of 50% of the shot, which is good enough. A minimum. I'm not saying maximum. A minimum of 50%. So they are not supposed to be sentiment about this. I just want us to critically look at this matter because of the sensitivity that comes from it. So, and I think I've been able to exhaust through everything I wanted to talk about, and I'm concluding now and I'm rounding up. I think I have to round up now. Eriaye, my brother was sound more dear. Eriaye, if you see all those ones fighting for the side, fighting for Okbewola, if the table are turned, they will also do the same. These were the same, some of them were the same people that were supporting Obaseki just about a year ago. So, Okpaya Yahin. Okpaya Yahin. Okpaya Yahin. So, take a politician serious at your own peril. Area Mea Koka. They are a bunch of liars, bunch of selfish, self-centered people. So I don't take them serious. When they talk, I just laugh. And they are very emotional. And that's why when I see a lot of them with their propaganda, I just laugh. Godwin was in that power. He wrestled with his majesty. He was defeated roundly. Now he's not in power anymore. And you think you can still call shots? Come on about emotion. Why not fight Obaseki? Obaseki not fight everybody. Obun ya evani he only makame. Obun okbewo no obun Obaseki only a matter ya evani makame. You know kame na is egwa. Mean a museum in me no ya hyongi mai. Only no kame. So I'm just going to round up now. So I thank all of you. And now, Mr. Mointian, are you still online? The last live video I did was about a month ago. I did say that there were some capital projects that we wanted to do. And some persons, and a lot of you, because the money was sent to Mointian, a lot of you made donations. I think the last time Mointian gave me an account of what was sent to him. I think he said 800 and something thousand was sent to him. So I wanted if it's here now, I wanted him to tell us how much was sent to him, how much he received. So that 800 and something thousand that was sent to him, we're having a litigation case against 4 ethnic groups. We're also going to be having a litigation case against the Oni of Ife very soon. So that Oni of Ife will come and prove to Edo people how he owns the Adan Eben. No Yamu chieftaincy title name. So we are preparing a litigation case against that one. Like I said, me imo bogi guan. In me haya deal with a court case. I use it 2026 yado. Anybody no one misbehave, I'm a baby court. So all do time ma. Many ravi ya dawe ben. Ko on I'm on je court. Awe adawe ben or yamu chieftaincy title name wani. If you banner tron ni do proof. Many ya dawe ben. So a litigation case or the mama mo rekoe so that ma asiegbe boy 20 billion naira ma case ma mu yon so that abi historian yan to oge kwe ni many ya dey court many ya do prove many ya yan da beben megile abi gas in zo mele no mo pa argue the social media, but that is okay, 806,000 altogether. So, 4 ethnic groups. I'm only mention any because I have my file. My file the matter of doviri. You know, can be so now bon simi. You know, can but my file the case in a before I make it public. My file I have mentioned if you read data. On read data na fian bayan vegani. So either I pay royalty to him or I return attorney. My mention my file case against then the New Benin. Can I a New Benin? Emaniboma can a New Benin east of Benin River. So my file case That my son he claim the east of Benin River. It can ati a new Benin. Mani boma can ati a new Benin. Kenawa ati a new Benin. We side there Uwoton, east of the Benin River. The Ladian we side Ologbo. Area niya east of the Benin River was called the New Benin. One ati word do it na yena Old Benin. So they were to form another New Benin. New Benin or where do there was where they were where the Dutch explorers, they were where the Dutch had referred to as the New Benin. Area niya. So we have a litigation against the until I filed the case in there. So I don't in name of your court at the same time. I don't in name. So my one in November ended to full. My way on ni my go way up man. Na even up my high. No need to proof. No need to proof. You know ya adabe. Okay, might calm down first. So I don't want to talk because when you get so, but I just wanted. Why I'm saying this is that out of the 806,000 that was sent, I forwarded a team in charge. One of our very respected brother, Mr. Nosai Hanire. I'll be introducing him. One of the most brightest Benin guys out there that is really very vast in Benin history. He's the one in charge of that case. So along the line, we forwarded 300,000 to him out of the 806,000. We forwarded 300,000 to him to file to start up that case. So, but we still have about 506,000. So that I needed to make you people understand. So as the case progresses, but immediately we filed, in about a week or two, we'll now do a press briefing so that we'll not let the world know why we are filing, what the case is about, so that everybody can watch out for the technicality of the case. So we want to start using legal framework to claim. Have anybody know that my argue, my artistry. So many are the courts near to prove many are. So we'll bring our papers to court. They should also bring their papers to court. We are not saying myth. We are not saying mythology. We are not saying lie. You bring your facts to court. We will present our facts to court. You understand? So, with the cook things for hand, why worry when some people call me that I just said, calm down, why worry? I had a court. The court had to tell me, man, because when I laughing, we give a mandate. Area already a mandate in there. But man, I know how to deal with him. Man, I know how to deal with him. They had the court, they had to prove. Many are dabe ben. Yeah, the court. So the had to prove. So what's a guy near me? My way I make the court. So anyone, I want to thank all of you people who have stood very strongly by the throne, by the Oba of Benin, and by Benin Kingdom, in spite of so many propaganda and lies that have been propagated against us, that have been propagated against the throne, that has been propagated against His Majesty. And again, I want to quickly say this. Concerning Omo's speech regarding Princess Elehai Okonohwa, please, for whatever reason, I don't want us to discuss that matter on a public space. For whatever reason, that matter should not come to public light, should not come to public space. That's a very internal royal matter. And I think the royal house should be able to take care of its royal issues. We are not in the position to discuss that matter, to further express, because I saw some persons were trying to make a deal out of it. Please, that's the royal house matter concerning Omo and his heir apparent or Okonahwa. So, you understand? So, you know, you might as well understand. So, our say yo, my na gwan kan matter na our fear. Yes, I remember my brother Wadorian. I remember. No, we'll begin to sue them now. Just the dazzling what maybe they come the court. They say they get facts, they get evidence. We don't want to talk again. I know. If you realize, I don't even get energy today argue with anybody again. I don't get any energy to argue Dudu White, Kaladera, or whatever. If they cross their line, at a big court again, I did call you to prove it. Say, I mean, Nigeria. Let them come and bring their facts. Let them come and prove. Since you have a dawe ben. And you have a tie here, and idea head. Any person not post any on your idea head, any company not post our Gualenieri, man, the people in charge will sue that this is so that all the proof. When you are a boy, the full meaning of idia is idia talk be. A boy idia talk be. Idia talk be. A boy the full meaning is idia talk be. So 20 billion all shooting na mu young no pay. Since of me go. How do I pay? So, I don't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to, like I was saying, I thank all of you who have stood very strongly with Benin Kingdom, who have stood very strongly with Benin Kingdom. God and our ancestors will continue to bless all of you, and we will continue to strive and work hard to unite our people. It's very important. It's very fundamental that irrespective of KK, our disagreements, but our disagreement shouldn't go beyond we disagreeing about opinion. So we'll disagree to agree, irrespective of our disagreement. That does not mean that for the fact that I disagree with a lot of persons out there does not mean I have bad intention for them. I don't have any bad intention for them. They shouldn't also have bad intention towards us. So I continue to pray to God and our ancestors to bless them. Kemi no dia warrior no salu does no wenia. Kemi no be di mana warrior no salu does even wenima. And at the end of the day, we all will meet at one center point. When we realize that, irrespective of our differences, the throne still remains a unifying factor for all the Edo people, irrespective of our differences. They have a political opinion. I don't have a political opinion. So when I speak based on my conviction, not because there's one money somewhere or there's one gift somewhere that is waiting for me. But I just want Nedora man or Sedora man or Baro Emenizodua. We mudiai maybe gogoi. You understand? Nedora man no Selura man. So why I was say since I know Dazi Vetinikao no more my Agbera. So I'll see you guys next time when we will see. So wherever you are, be good. Continue to represent this land in good light. We'll continue to fight for Benin Kingdom. Okay, my time. Merci. Ekwase. Let me thank you personally. So if I want to thank you personally, how many have you thanked personally? But she's an amazing sister. Very, very amazing. So I thank you personally. And you want to report me, give Obaseki. Now. No Obaseki, never do we move ye uko we no me ne de be move are white house. You know the be move are white house. So allow the fear of Obaseki is the big giveaway stuff. So it's all good. So I thank all of you. Why I was say Oba do yaga talk by you say. So I'll see you guys.